I remember seeing some Americans shooting at a loon, a bird nearly the size of an English goose. This bird is remarkable for diving and generally rises some yards from the place where it dips. They fired at a distance of 150 yards with a rifle, several times without success. An Indian standing by laughed at them and told them they were old women. They desired him to try, which he instantly did. Taking his gun and resting it against a tree, he fired and shot the loon through the neck. I confess I never saw a better shot in my life, and was highly pleased, as it gratified my pride in giving the Americans a favourable opinion of the savages, for whom I always entertained a predilection. The loon is a very remarkable bird, but having no anatomical knowledge, I cannot describe it technically. They are so made that it can scarcely walk. It's therefore seldom seen on land. In calm weather it rises from the water with great difficulty, and flies as impelled by the wind, on which it seems to depend. The method usually adopted by the Indians to kill these birds is by fixing a large bough at the head of the canoe to conceal themselves till they paddle near the place where they are. When at a convenient distance they fire, though not always with success. In the Chippewa language it's called a monk, which agrees with the French word manquer, to fail, it being, from its shyness, very difficult to kill. The skin, which is very tough and thick, is dried and made use of as cases to cover their guns, to prevent the wet from spoiling them. Having grown tired of living entirely with the savages, I made an excursion to Montreal, where I met with an offer to go as interpreter to the north, which at first I didn't care to accept, but as the salary proposed was handsome, upon mature deliberation I embraced the opportunity of entering into that way of life, from which I fully expected to profit at least, if not pleasure. But alas, I had often abundant reason to repent the pursuing the bent of my inclinations. On the 4th of May, 1777, I left Montreal, with 2 large birch canoes called by the French maitre canoes, having 10 Canadians in each, as the number of portages require many hands to transport the goods across the landings, which can only be done on men's shoulders. As the voyage is so essentially different from the English manner of travelling, I shall relate it particularly. The canoes are made at Trois-Rivières. They are, in general, 8 fathoms long, and 1½ wide, covered with the bark of the birch tree and sewed very close with fibrous roots, and of this size they will carry 4 tons weight each. As early in the spring as the ice will permit, they're brought up to Lachine, a village 9 miles above Montreal. Lachine takes its name from the following story. Le Sieur La Salle, who was afterwards murdered by 2 of his own party, in Canada in the year 1686, was very intent on discovering a shorter road to China than was then known. But his project failing by an accident which happened to him at this place, he was obliged to postpone his journey to the east, which induced the Canadians, by way of derision, to call it Lachine, or China, and by that name it has ever since been known.